What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. It's voting day. That's why I have this sticker on my face, but this video is probably not coming out till the day after. So hopefully you voted. I don't know. I can't convince you to. It's tomorrow. Today, we're doing power rankings, top 5 only, because if I'm being honest, besides the top 5 teams in the league record-wise, y'all are also mid. 3-4, 4-3, 3-3, 4-4. You're all just mid. Sorry. So we're talking about basically the top 5 teams in basketball. I know it's a little bit more straightforward and boring, but like I said, I can't differentiate the Rockets from the Mavericks right now. I literally just can't. So what we're doing is the top 5 teams, and later in the season I'll be doing a top 10, but that's enough yapping. Number 5, Phoenix Suns. Every time I watch the Phoenix Suns, I ask myself the same question. What does Jusuf Nurkic do? What does he provide? He can't shoot, bad passer, not a great screener, mid defender. I mean, what exactly does he provide? You know what? We'll move on from that. Despite Jusuf Nurkic's best efforts, they are 6th in defensive rating. They are also 7th in three-point percentage, 3rd in true shooting. I mean, that's just great offense. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, they're going to produce great offense, but Tyus Jones has done wonders for this offense in terms of movement and players' ability to just get shots, open shots. Because last year it was very much relying on pound the ball for Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Just pound that thing into the floor until you get an open shot. So yeah, their offenses look kind of palatable this year and really decent. Their defense has looked even better. Their defense has been pretty good, all things considered. Thanks in due part to a guy named Royce O'Neal, who has looked very, very good. And then thanks in due part to another guy named Ryan Dunn, who's looked really impressive for a rookie. And in a rookie class that's kind of bad like this one is, dog, there's a real chance he can win Rookie of the Year being a 3-and-D wing. One can play big minutes. He's going to be relied upon this season to be a really elite defender, which he already has been a really good defender. And the thing is that you have to be able to make threes with it. You know, I like to bring up the example of like a Matisse Thybulle, somebody like that who is a really, really great defender, but if you can't make a shot and you can't produce offensively, you don't really bring much value. Yeah, the Suns have really just impressed me all around. I mean, they have decent wins. You know, they're eking out games to an extent, but when you have that much talent on your roster and you're bought into playing good defense, obviously I think things will work out just fine for them. One question I do have about the Phoenix Suns though is what is going on with KD's advanced stats? I looked at his cleaning the glass page and his points per 100 possessions is at -14 basically. What? And then his on-off defensive numbers even look kind of bad too. So I don't know. I'm not panicked about it, and he passes the eye test still. It's just I've been wondering about the advanced stats, and I don't know. Obviously, advanced stats don't paint the full picture, but it really does make you question it, you know? Yeah, if they had any other center not named Jusuf Nurkic, I'd feel a lot better in this team in general. I'm just not a Jusuf Nurkic believer. I never really have been. I mean, Mason Plumlee's providing them with spot good minutes. Dunn has just been an absolute difference maker for them, though. When Royce O'Neal's not on the floor, they have somebody competent who can play his backup spot. Grayson Allen's shot hasn't fully fallen yet, but when Ryan Dunn is playing as good as he has been, I mean, you could just play him more minutes, just shove more minutes down his throat, tell him, here you go, kid. So yeah, shout out to Long Island's finest, Ryan Dunn. He's been fantastic this season. Kevin Durant's still Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, you know who I am. Devin Booker shot horribly the other night, but even then, he's still fine. You know, it's Devin Booker. You know what he's going to give you. Tyus Jones has changed this offense a little bit, and then Bud just has them looking more energized and like they give a shit about the game. I'm sorry, last year under Frank Vogel, there was games where it just looked like they stopped caring at halftime. Obviously, I'm not saying this team is going to finish in this spot. You know, these power rankings are just for now. This isn't a full season power ranking, obviously. But the Suns have checked every box for me so far and have been pretty good. I wasn't bought on them being contenders, but if they keep playing similarly to the way they're playing right now, I don't see why they aren't contenders. I mean, Jusuf Nurkic is a hard person to bet on as a championship-winning 5-man. But, I mean, when you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, Tyus Jones, you know, you have good depth now. Who says no? Shout out to Phoenix. I could have put them higher than the number 4 team, but I felt as though number 4's team has just looked way sharper. It's the Golden State Warriors. I've been a big Warriors hater for a long time now, and I think a majority of the NBA has. When you become a dynasty, you stop getting empathy from others. People stop going, oh, poor Warriors. When they were terrible in 2021, I'm going to be honest, I cheered. I loved seeing them struggle, but shit is different this year. Draymond Green is 10 of 19 from 3. Let that sink in. Draymond Green is 10 of 19 from 3. Buddy Hield, damn near shooting 50% from 3. Buddy buckets. I mean, he looks like the new Klay Thompson. Andrew Wiggins looks playable again. Andrew Wiggins has not looked playable the last few years. He looks decent enough again. He looks fine. And all during this, Pods and Kuminga still haven't necessarily put together great offensive seasons. Pods defensively is still just really good, and on top of that, he's a good facilitator. And Kuminga hasn't looked sharp, but it hasn't hurt them, because right now their bench mob is insane, bro. They roll out a completely new bench, and it seems like one of them just gets hot every game. And it's kind of by committee. Their bench is very by committee. Lindy Waters had a crazy game. Then Kuminga will have a really good game. Buddy Hield will have a really good game. It really changes on a game-to-game basis. Moses Moody had a good game the other day. You really can't predict how good this team is going to be in a day in and day out basis and who's going to carry the offensive load. Without Steph Curry, they look just the same. I mean, they have 6 wins on the season, and in 5 of them, they've scored 125 or more points. That is just elite offense. They're top 5 in offensive rating and top 3 in defensive rating. I didn't expect them to be that good of a defensive team either, and I think the most interesting part about this team is that nobody's playing heavy minutes. I don't think anyone on the roster is playing over 30 minutes a game. They have the second best assist-to-turnover ratio in basketball. They don't turn the ball over a ton. It's very motion-based. They don't stop moving. The defense has looked great, like I said, and I think the biggest sign of a difference this year with the Warriors was the fact that Steph Curry has missed games and Draymond hasn't crashed out. Hate using the term crashed out. The youth ruined it for me. But Draymond, usually when Steph Curry's out, he loses his cool quickly. And I think Warriors fans will tell you that too. Draymond has a bit of a temper on him. But without Steph Curry, they're still winning games, and Draymond's playing. He's not doing any goofy stuff. Yesterday against the Wizards, it was him and Keyshawn George, and him and Jordan Poole had some physical stuff on the court. They were getting physical. Thing is, it never turned to anything more than physical basketball, and that kind of made me happy. I feel like the old Draymond would have taken those bumps. He tried to post up Jordan Poole, and Poole was pushing him, and it was a shoving match, a petty off almost, but it was a fight for post positioning. And I feel like the old Draymond might have turned around and slugged him. But this new Leaf Draymond, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to and hoping he won't do it again. It'll take about 2 months and then he'll go kick somebody in the face or something. I don't know. But right now, I'm just hoping Draymond Green can be a normal human being on a basketball court. Overall, with the Warriors, though, like I said, dude, they are getting contributions from everybody. And the fact that they missed Steph Curry and they're still winning games is just so impressive. And I still don't like them. But they're making it work. Let me preface the top 3 by saying this. The top 3 are interchangeable. If you feel as though number 3 should be number 1, if you feel as though number 1 should be number 3, or number 2 should be number 1, or number 2 should be number 3, type it down in the comments. I always support debate. All right. Number 3, Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, dude, there's probably a couple of people who are like, well, the Thunder could be number 1. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. They could be number 1. They have the highest net rating in basketball. They're number 1 in steals, number 1 in blocks. That is impressive in and of itself. They have guys who can rip you in Caruso, Dort, heck, even J-Double get dirty every once in a while. And then you obviously have Chet Holmgren, who is the Defensive Player of the Year if the season ended today. I love some Wemby. Wemby's amazing, don't get me wrong. However, dude, let me tell you, Chet Holmgren is making his case. This guy looks incredible this year. With Chet's emergence and then Shea still looking like Shea, Cason Wallace has provided a real spark off the bench for them. And Isaiah Hartenstein still hasn't played a game. So, you know, there's still facets of this team that they haven't been able to show yet without iHeart. I'm very impressed by what I've seen out of OKC. Like I said, they could very well be number 1 if you wanted to argue that. I would not argue against you. Lou Dort's hitting threes. That's crazy to think because that's a guy who's been historically just kind of up and down with his three-point shot. He's hitting them right now. Alex Caruso's offense has looked but you didn't bring in Alex Caruso just for the offensive game. You brought him in to be another demon defender like Dort, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's causing so many turnovers and tough shots. It's just another team that I feel like is just making the right plays, and they play so smart. They don't take a ton of threes, but they make a good amount of threes. They make a lot of mid-range jumpers, and they play just a fun brand of basketball where it's like they can beat you in a lot of facets. They can shoot you from 3 and they can destroy you from the three-point line, or they can get into the paint, play physical basketball, make mid-range shots even, and they can even get in a defensive stance and stop you. You know, with Chet on that back line now, and Chet looks like a real shot blocker, This team is intimidating. It's a reason why they're my highest rated Western Conference team, and I think that was kind of obvious to everybody who'd be watching, is that number one in the West would be OKC. They've looked dominant, and they were the preseason champs in the West, and I think they're going to be the end of the season champs of the West too still. We'll see how things shake out. Obviously, you know, you don't wish injuries, but they are a part of the game. You hope not to see them, but if this Thunder team stays healthy, they get Hart back, they're able to rebound better again, I don't know how you stop them. Number 2, this one's rough. I know they're undefeated. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers.
State. After that, it was with the Clipper. The second violation is called, and it's on Allen.
Defensive rating and top 5 in defensive rating too. Smothering defense from 2 big bodies, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley in the paint. They're impressive. They're a top 10 team in the league in terms of pace, and they have Allen and Mobley starting. They have 2 big bodies, and they're still top 10 in pace. That is outright just impressive from what I see. This team makes a lot of the right plays. Karis LeVert. What is happening with Karis LeVert, man? He's been great to start the year. They're 3rd in turnovers forced. I don't want to be that guy. Really don't want to be that guy. But their starting 5 still has a negative point differential. I'm not saying that that's a bad, they're not a bad team for that, obviously. They're number 2 in the power rankings. But I was a guy who was a big doubter in their backcourt working, and the fact that they haven't been able to mesh all that talent together. Still doesn't look like they really fully have, but their second unit and their ability to run 2 of them together at a time really kind of puts the pressure on an opposing team. The Cavs look really good. Like I said, they shot block really well. They jump passing lanes crazy, man. And the other night they've had back-to-back really good games against the Bucks, where the first game of the set, Donovan Mitchell game winner, Giannis looks unstoppable. Dame hits 10 threes. Second game of the set, Giannis doesn't play. Still a close game. Dame is going off, and then it's him versus Garland down the stretch, just kind of ISO bucketing each other. Those 2 games have been so fun to watch. Shout out to the Cavs. Just couldn't give them the number 1 spot over the Boston Celtics. Oh, the Celtics fan puts the Celtics on number 1. Buddy, they're the defending champions. Relax. They're 7-1 versus 8-0. Stone me. I don't care. The Celtics look more impressive. They have the best offensive rating and the 4th best defensive rating in basketball. They're attempting 50 threes per game. That's insane. They have the 2nd lowest turnover rate in basketball. If the season ended today, Jason Tatum would be my MVP. The guy's averaging like 30, and he's on a top 3 team in basketball easily. I'd still say number 1. I think the biggest props I can give to the Celtics right now is the fact that they're running Nemias Queta at the 5, and it's working. I love Nemi. Don't get me wrong, Queta's playing great, but in the Pacers game that they lost, they were down like 20, and it was because the Pacers were getting rim pressure after rim pressure after rim pressure. They just kept getting to the rim. After, if you can get past the Celtics' initial perimeter defense, which is really hard, you have a bunch of elite perimeter defenders, but if you can get beyond that and get 2 feet in the paint, they're going to struggle to stop you because they don't have any shot blockers. Shout out to D. White, shout out Al. They are not shot blockers. They are shot blockers, just like not elite rim protectors. You get what I mean? Teams get what they want when they can get layups against the Celtics. So it's because they're missing their 7'4" lurch, essentially. Kristaps Porzingis, I've been calling him Lurch because he wears those suits and he just looks like Lurch. But the biggest differentiator from the first half to the second half of that Pacers game was the fact that they went away from Luke Cornett and Al Horford and decided to just roll Queta at the 5. Nemias Queta at the 5 was really helping them protect the rim. Had a couple of big blocks late in that game. Looked impressive. He's obviously still young. He has moments where it's like against the Hawks after a pick and roll with Trae Young and Clint Capella. Trae pulled it out to the 3-point line, and Queta still decided to just kind of float in the mid-range. Capella is their center. You know where he's gonna go off a pick and roll. He ain't popping. So yeah, while he still has his goofy moments, he's still a really quality center, and he's providing good minutes for the Celtics. It feels like the Celtics can just put in whoever they feel like, and it works. Sam Hauser's looked rough this year, but Peyton Pritchard's a 6th Man of the Year candidate. There's a reason the Celtics are the defending champs, dude. They can shoot you out of the building. They play elite defense. They move the ball really well. They have a bunch of different good passers on the team. Jaylen Brown still hasn't even turned it on yet. He's missed the last couple of games, and they still look unstoppable. I debated putting the Cavs first because if I was being honest with myself, I was going to say, do we really think the Cavs are going to be number 1 all year? I don't think so, but the thing is that I didn't want to be disingenuous and just give the Cavs the number 1 spot and say, here's your Make-A-Wish number 1 spot in the power rankings. I want to be honest. If I'm being honest, I think that if the Celtics and the Cavs matched up right now, the Celtics would probably win. Now, Celtics versus Thunder, now that's a completely different scenario. The only reason I put the Cavs above the Thunder is because of the 8-0. You do have to respect the 8-0. That is incredible. I know it's been cupcake for a majority of it, but against the Bucks, those are still decent wins because they still do have Giannis and they still have Dame. If they were to drop one of those games, nobody would really give them crap for it. So, you know, I think the top three, like I said at the beginning, are all interchangeable. It's just where do you value their wins? And when it comes to ranking strength of schedule, I can't do it yet. You know, the Bucks, I think that's a great win. But also, I look at the Bucks and they're 1-6 and coached by Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. You know, so it's hard to grade, you know, quality wins versus non-quality wins when, let's be honest, no team besides these top 5 are really pushing themselves forward and have looked dominant. The Magic did, but now Paolo's done. What do I say about them? So it was really just tough to differentiate these teams, but if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, share, sub. Go into the comments and tell me why I'm wrong and why, I don't know, the Orlando Magic should be number 5 or the Pacers should be number 5. I don't know. Argue your top 5 team into the top 5 and I'll have a good laugh. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.